Steve and Tommy, thank you very much. And exciting one at Fenway Park. We're just underway here at Candlestick. We're already, there's some excitement in the top of the first inning because Tony Gwynn, who went 4 for 4 last night, just smacks one inside the first base line with a pair of runners aboard. That gets caught down in the bullpen down there, and Kevin Bass is going to have to come up swinging. And Tony Gwynn will be in with a triple, and the Padres lead it 2-0. So you got to us just in time. Bip Roberts began the game with a single. Tony Fernandez was walked by Scott Garrelts. And then Tony Gwynn, who ruined the Giants with a 4 for 4 night last night, delivered again. And the Padres, with no one out, already lead it 2-0.
Scott Garrelts gets that fastball up inside. Tony Gwynn turns on it, drives that ball down in that corner. Kevin Bass makes a nice play on the relay, but he had to go 2-4 in order to get the ball. You see the play going to third base right there. It's too late. 2 runs in for the Padres.
And Fred McGriff is thinking more. Sends one deep to right center field. Back. Gone! 4 batters, 4 runs. And the Padres have busted it open before we could even sit down. 4-0 San Diego.
This is exactly what the Padres were looking for when they made the trade for Fred McGriff. Power in that 4th spot. He scored 2 runs on Tony Gwynn's triple, and McGriff drives him in.
So the crime dog, Fred McGriff, is a wanted man by that pitcher tonight, Scott Garrelts, who already finds himself down 4-0. And he's yet to get a man out, and he dribbles that one, the first pitch to Benito Santiago. So this is hardly the kind of start that the Giants had in mind, but you're seeing the top of the order, Jerry, of the San Diego Padres do what they've done to everybody thus far, and that's tattoo the ball, and Roger Craig wants to get out to the mound in a hurry. And first he's going to talk to home plate umpire Bruce Fremming. So while Craig tries to settle his starter, Scott Garrelts, let's settle in with our starter, John Saunders, who's set to bring him today with everything else in baseball. John?
And a few people may have to go to the bullpen, Chris, because you saw the long ball in your park while the O's and the White Sox after a long rain delay. Frank Thomas back, Devereaux up. Does he have it? Yeah, he's not showing it. If he does, it's over the wall. 2-0 is the score. A reminder, tomorrow night, that's who we'll have, the Orioles and the White Sox at 8:30 Eastern time. Right now, let's get it back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John, some early fireworks here at the stick. And boy, well, the 1-0 pitch to Santiago, and he's going to foul it back on the right side. And when you come out and you're really the ace of the staff, Jerry, and you're in Scott Garrelts' shoes, and you get cuffed around like this in the first inning without a batter out, what's the rest of the team thinking?
Well, they're shell-shocked, as Scott Garrelts is. Of course, some of that is to his own making. The pitch that Roberts hit was a fastball out over the plate for a base hit.
And Garrelts will register his first out of the game as Santiago grounds it to Robbie Thompson, and some sarcastic cheers from the Giants crowd. But go on. Here is the lineup that has thus far wreaked havoc on Garrelts tonight. Bip Roberts singled to start the game. Tony Fernandez at short, walk. Tony Gwynn drove from Bolton with the triple down the corner. Fred McGriff hit one about 380 feet over the right center field fence. He's the cleanup hitter. You see the rest. Santiago is the number 5 batter. Gerald Clark, who steps up to the plate. Paul Ferry starting at third. Sean Abner, and the pitcher tonight, Eric Nolte. How, as a pitcher, do you settle yourself down? What is Roger Craig going to tell you that you don't already know in a visit to the mound?
Well, he's not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. What he is going to tell you, however, is to step back, relax, collect yourself and your thoughts. It's a long ball game. Even though you are 4 runs down, I have to have you settle down in order to win this ball game. Now remember, their middle relief has been getting shelled recently in ball games. We saw it last night with Rick Russell. Don Robinson has not been pitching well. Trevor Wilson has been wild. He needs some innings tonight out of Scott Garrelts.
He needs some serious innings tonight out of Scott Gerald Clark swings and misses. So whatever Roger Craig didn't tell him has worked.
Well, he said something to him, but I think it was to that effect. He has settled down enough. He started him off with a fastball. He finishes right there with an off-speed pitch. Probably a split finger for this first strikeout here of the evening.
So the number 7 man in the Padres order, the third baseman, Paul Tooth Ferries, up at the plate. Ferries started last night at third, his first start of the season. The third Padres starter at third this season. I know it sounds like the Department of Redundancy department, the third starter at third, but who's on third? I don't know. Abbott and Costa. I mean, here's what's happening. You can see why Greg Riddock is still trying to figure out who should go there.
If they have an Achilles heel anywhere in this lineup, it's at third base. You can see they're just hitting a bit over 100 collectively.
Count is 1-2 as Garrelts tries to get out of here without any further damage. Here's the Giants defense, Jerry.
It's Will Clark at first base, Robbie Thompson at second base, Jose Uribe at shortstop, Matt Williams at third base. In the outfield, Kevin Mitchell in left, Mike Felder in center, and in right field, it's Kevin Bass.
That one just missed. The count is 2-2. Willie McGee is not playing tonight, as he did not last night. The reason you see Felder in center field. McGee, kind of tendonitis behind the right knee. It's a day-to-day proposition. So there's another problem that the Giants have, as Felder is in center and not Willie McGee.
Well, McGee, in talking to him before the game, had mentioned that his problem is one of those things. It's not day-to-day. It's something that's going to take 5, maybe 7 days, and it's wishful thinking possibly on the Giants' part to get him back out in center field sooner.
Full count to Paul Ferries. Matt Williams scoops it. Fires across. So if you've watched the last 3 batters, Scott Garrelts looked like the best pitcher in the history of baseball. Problem is the first 4 all scored. 4-0 San Diego. The Giants coming up. Candlestick at the bottom of the first, where the Padres unloaded for 4 runs against Scott Garrelts. Here come the Giants to try and solve Eric Nolte and get back in this thing. Robbie Thompson leads off at second base. He hit for the cycle last night. First Giant to do it in 3 years. Mike Center Felder batting second. Will Clark, the natural, at first. Kevin Sing-along with Mitchell, the cleanup hitter with 6 home runs. Matt Williams at third. Kevin Smallmouth Bass at right field. Steve Upper Decker, the youngster, behind the plate. Jose game-winning Uribe is the shortstop. And Scott Garrelts, the pitcher, against left-handed 2-0 for the San Diego Padres, Eric Nolte. Pitched at Las Vegas last year, did Nolte. But thus far this year, he's had the fastball working pretty well with his 7 strikeouts and 12 1/3. And he is 2-0. And you talk about the San Diego Padres right out of the gate, Jerry. This story of Nolte and what he has done. I mean, last year at Las Vegas was 2-11. That's the AAA team of the Padres with an ERA of 8.58. When everybody else eliminated themselves for the 5th starter's role, he came in and surprised. He's 2-0.
Exactly, but he did the job in spring training. He did earn that starting spot. The interesting thing, last summer, he actually gave thought to quitting baseball and joining the Los Angeles Police Force. Which is a interesting job these days, isn't it? I'm going to let you handle that one.
Bruce Fremming says that's strike 3, and Robbie Thompson doesn't like it, but he will sit down. Benito Santiago behind the plate. Padre defense much improved in the infield this year, isn't it, Jerry?
That's right. Fred McGriff at first base. Soft hands. Bip Roberts, who has really played excellent second base, both offensively, defensively. Tony Fernandez at short. Paul Ferries at third base in his second start. In the outfield, Gerald Clark in left. Sean Abner in center. And in right field, it's Tony Gwynn, who has 5 consecutive hits.
Mike Felder let go by the Brewers just before the start of the season. Giants picked him up as a little insurance. The last couple of nights he's been in there in center field because of the injury we described to Willie McGee. Mike, one of those players that has 3 nicknames depending on where he is. Mike left, Mike center, or Mike right. Felder.
What happens if he pinch runs?
Mike center Felder. I'll have to work on that one. Yeah, I need you. It's a little blooper. Sean Abner is there, and there's 2 down. Will Clark coming up. Our umpires tonight, Bruce Fremming behind the plate. Ed Montague at first base. Dan DeMuth at second base. And a young man from my neck of the woods from Stratford, Connecticut, Mark Hirschbeck, around at third. There's Fremming, veteran umpire. Excellent umpire.
Working in shirt sleeves this evening. It is a pleasant evening in Candlestick.
15 degrees warmer than last night when the wind was howling. Ball 1 to Will Clark. Clark thus far this year, 14 RBIs. He and Kevin Mitchell, the co-leaders in the National League in that department, going in. So it hasn't been that the big guns of the Giants haven't been hitting. Clark hitting .313. Mitchell behind him hitting .319 with the 6 home runs to lead the National League. But they've all hit together, or they've all whiffed together thus far this season. And Clark to left field to another Clark. Gerald. 1-2-3 inning for Eric Nolte. Go to the second inning. San Diego 4, San Francisco nothing.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Upper Deck. Nobody does baseball like Upper Deck. By the Century 21 system. Just tell us what you want, it's as good as done. And by Lennox. When it comes to quality in heating and cooling, must be at Lennox.
Top of the second here at Candlestick Park. And swinging at the first pitch, the number 8 batter, Padre lineup, Sean Abner. As 7 Padres came to the plate in the first inning. The first 4 of them scored. 2 on a triple by Tony Gwynn. 2 on a next pitch home run by Fred McGriff. And so Scott Garrelts pops up Abner. Decker makes the play. So after 4 straight hits and runs, Garrelts now has recorded 4 straight outs. Eric Nolte, the pitcher, coming up next. But here's our hurler, John Saunders.
And speaking of hurlers, not a good couple of days for Dennis Eckersley. A blown save the other day, and then tonight, Greg Gagne, his second home run of the year. This one off Eckersley to the deepest part of the park. But just the same, they end their 5-game losing streak to the A's. Back to Chris and Jerry.
All right, John. Actually, we saw Gagne go deep in our first game of the year against Oakland.
That's right, Dave Stewart.
It's Dave Stewart. He's hit one off Stewart and off Eckersley thus far. Eric Nolte, 0 for 6 this season, isn't as likely to go deep. He's going out on a limb, although he hits one past the rebag. And so the pitcher is aboard with his first hit of the season. Now, Scott Garrelts, toiled a long first inning. It was a 1-2-3 first for the Giants, and here he is back out there again. They needed to give him a little more rest, didn't they?
Absolutely. It was a very difficult first inning. He has a 3 hits and a walk. You see right here, he throws that ball right down the middle of the plate. And Nolte, any batter who has a bat in his hands is a dangerous hitter, as you saw right there. Nolte doesn't have a hit. Gets a base hit right there. Second big league hit, I believe.
Let's see. He was 2 for 21 and 0 for 6. So 3 for 28 lifetime. But he's on first base with 1 out. And now the trouble begins with Pip Roberts up. Roger Craig said last night, and I think a lot of people would agree, or might agree by the end of this year, that you're looking at the best leadoff man in the National League. Of course, Roger had a good one, and Brett Butler now down in L.A., so maybe there's something else to that statement, too. But Pip Roberts, a lot of people don't know what he's capable of doing around the league. Or a lot of fans don't, but I think this year when you see him start at second base every game and lead off, he gets down that line in the flash.
Not only that, once he gets on base, he can steal a base. He stole 46 bases last year. Had 40 extra base hits last year. Certainly a reason why the Padres are in first place right now.
With a nice play. Thompson, Clark, and they double up Pip Roberts. So the Giants settling down, but the Padres settling into the bottom of the second with a 4-0 lead. Let's go with the Padres over the Giants, 4-0. Kevin Mitchell, Matt Williams, Kevin Bass up against the left-hander Eric Nolte. 2-0 this year. The last time in any level of organized ball he had an ERA of under 5 was in '87 when he came up with the Padres. How has he turned it around this quickly?
He's taken advantage of an opportunity. What he has done, the Rasmussen was hurt earlier in spring training. Atley Hammaker, another left-handed pitcher, was hurt in spring training. They had to be a spot open, a fifth starter spot. Nolte was available because he was still on the roster. As a result, he did well in spring training, won the job coming out of spring training. He's won already as many games as he did the entire year last year. And most importantly, and he'll probably tell you this, is that he has his first base hit of the year.
This guy has more than a base hit this year. Kevin Mitchell homered in the first 3 games, took the 4th game when he didn't hit a homer, then hit 2 in this 5th game. So he had 5 through 5. And he has 6 to lead the National League.
It's interesting to note the stance of Kevin Mitchell as he stands up there. From our vantage point, we're just a little on the first base side. It appears that his hands are over the inside corner. He's going to see a lot of pitches come inside. They're going to hit that inside corner, and he's going to be backing off the plate on it.
Yeah, well, he's backing this one deep to left field. Back goes Giro Clark. Back. Home run number 7 for Kevin Mitchell. We had a long talk with Kevin before the game, and he said, I think I'm going to hit one out against him. I know what he's going to throw me, and I know I can go deep, and the Giants are on the board.
That's because of the confidence level of Kevin Mitchell. He was MVP a couple of years ago, has hit over 30 home runs a couple of times. He comes right out here, knows the pitchers. He looks for a certain pitch. He gets the fastball right here. He turns on that. Notice how his hips open. Drives that ball deep to left field. His 7th home run of the year.
And that'll bring up Matt Williams. The crowd buzzing. Nolte misses ball 1. Kevin Mitchell. And you hate to use the word 50 home runs. I know it's only 7. No National Leaguer has done it since George Foster. Tough play for Tony Fernandez. Makes it, but Williams beats it out. He's a joy to watch play shortstop. He almost turned an impossible play.
He went deep in his shortstop. In fact, he was behind third base when he made this play. Makes it on the run, as American League fans have seen for so many years. Tony Fernandez coming up with a great play, only this time it's just a little too late.
So a home run and a single to lead off the second for the Giants. And now Fernandez and company will look for a double play ball off the bat of Kevin Bass. Bass may have other ideas. Tripled last night. Padres 7-5 win over these Giants. And a nice sliding catch in right field. Actually sent his leg, felt as good, and he ran as well as he has since the injury in early last year. Forced him to miss half of last season. He came back in September, really wasn't the same player. He flew around that triple. We were both commenting on it last night. And again, confidence. If you think your leg feels better, you will run faster. And you will hit better. Sean Abner hustles to cut it off. Williams stops at second. And the Giants have runners at first and second with nobody out, and Steve Decker coming up. Let's go to John Saunders.
Braves and the Dodgers. Kevin Gross facing David Justice. Rookie of the Year last year, and here's one reason why. Hammers this high fastball back into the bullpen. Gives the Braves a 1-0 lead, but Justice looks like he doesn't believe it's a homer. He's going for 3. Let's get it back to Chris and Jerry.
David Justice goes deep in Los Angeles. Kevin Mitchell and Fred McGriff have gone deep here, and Mike Rourke, the pitching coach, is out to talk with the young lefty Eric Nolte.
Eric Nolte says his problems begin when his fastball, his curveball go off the corners and into the middle part of the plate. He's gotten a couple of pitches up thus far this inning, one to Mitchell and one to Kevin Bass. And what Mike Rourke is trying to do at this point is prevent a big inning like the Padres had in the top of their first. Keep the Giants from having that same kind of inning here in the bottom of the second.
Say, you mentioned, Jerry, that you wanted, or not you wanted, but Roger Craig wanted a lot of innings out of Geraltz tonight. I think Greg Riddock is in more of a pickle with his middle relief and closers. He doesn't have. He used just about everybody last night, and he said he's got Wes Gardner, and he's got Rich Rodriguez, and maybe an inning at a effort's possible tonight. That's all. He needs Nolte to go pretty deep in the game as Nolte delivers outside to Steve Decker.
After last night's slugfest, there's no doubt about it. What did we see for the Giants last night? We saw Russell come in to pitch.
Robinson pitched.
And for the Padres, they had Maddox come in to pitch. Larry Anderson pitched.
Pat Clemens pitched. Swung out and missed by Decker. Not to be confused with the guy that pitched their first game tonight on ESPN, Roger Clemens. You wouldn't confuse those two.
No, you wouldn't confuse. Well, one's left-handed.
Oh, okay. That's the difference. I knew there was some difference. I was missing it. 2 on. Giants looking to get back in this thing with none out. Bottom of the second. 4-1 San Diego. 1-1 pitch to Steve Decker. Up top for a ball. See, Greg Harris left last night's game after just 1 pitch, so Mike Maddox, a middle relief, had to come on and essentially be the starter. So he's gone. Clemens worked 2 innings. He's worked 3 games in a row. He'll be gone. Outside, it's 3-1. Anderson worked 2 innings. He's gone. So this will be very interesting. The starters may just be out there serving them up for 5 or 6 innings. We may have a pinball game tonight, which actually would be fun to watch. We had a 1-0 game last week. Decker fouls it back. The count is full. Decker homered Saturday, homered Sunday to win the game against the Astros. Young man that has really put Terry Kennedy on the bench and really put Gary Carter in the Dodger blue by the way he played last September to convince everybody that he could handle the job of catcher.
They've certainly been convincing thus far this season. 4 home runs, 7 RBIs coming into this game.
Foul back. Plus, now last night he really struggled defensively, but he has had every level that he's been. Well, he really never played AAA. Came up from the Shreveport Captains last year in AA. He's thrown out in the 40% range of base runners in the minors.
Did so last year, 42%. In fact, he looked so good last September that he jumped ahead of the catcher in waiting, Kurt Manwaring.
Man waiting in AAA. Decker pops it up. Now remember, at Candlestick, there's a lot of room. Not quite enough room. I mean, that was way back, but only 4 rows deep. You love pitching in a park like this, don't you?
Well, I was a ground ball pitcher, and I was more concerned about the ground balls being hit to the infielders. But someone, let's say like Tom Browning, who throws a lot of fly ball outs, here would be a perfect place for him to pitch because of that. Oakland is the epitome of this ballpark in the American League.
Right. But they like to give you a lot of room out here in the Bay Area. It's a Bay Area kind of thing. Full count again. Oh, nice pitch, and fools Decker. He'll sit down. 1 out.
Excellent pitch selection. Threw a fastball. Decker fouls it off down the right field line. Next pitch he comes in with is a curveball. Decker's way out in front. It's a curveball out of the strike zone, and he gets the first out here in the Giants' second inning.
So Eric Nolte will now try and deal with Jose Uribe, the number 8 hitter. Shortstop began the season on the DL. Mike Benjamin played. Now Benjamin down at AAA Phoenix. Uribe's job, he's won it again. And he'll win over a lot of fans and smiles with a base hit here. The Giants down 4-1, but Matt Williams, the base runner at second. Kevin Bass on at first. Pitch. Into right field. Tony Gwynn draws a beat on it. Williams had started 2/3 of the way to third base, so he had to scamper back. No chance to tag. And so now Nolte has done a heck of a job. He gave up the home run. There's 2 on. But now he's retired the next 2, and he's pitching to his counterpart, the pitcher.
Right. Remember, Mike Rourke went out just 2 hitters ago after Nolte had given up 3 consecutive hits. Whatever he said to him at that point certainly settled him down. Probably something to the effect that you have a 4-run lead, start this inning, you've given up a home run, don't lose it right here. We need you for the innings.
Scott Gereltz rounds it foul. Gereltz, who making only his 2nd start of the year, won his first start 16-2 against the Astros. Gereltz often a pinch runner. Pinch ran 11 times last year for Roger Craig. As a batter, lifetime a 127 hitter. 0-1 pitch. Way out in front.
Well, the 127 average, I suppose, to some people's way of thinking, it's a poor average, but it doesn't take into account the number of times that a player can bunt or how he can handle the bat in a bunt situation.
Right here, they just want an excuse-me base hit. It's by Santiago, but Gereltz runs pretty well, but not well enough to beat out Santiago's gun. So Nolte pitches out of it. The Giants just get 1. It's 4-1 Pods. Furman along with Jerry Rice. 4-1 Padres as we start the 3rd. Now, every manager and pitching coach in baseball watching the game tonight thinks all I have to do is walk out to the mound and presto, my pitcher is fine. It can't be that easy. Either that or these guys know what to say.
Well, they do know what to say, and what they say is you've got a long time to pitch out here. You've got to settle down. We don't have the people in the bullpen to come pick you up. In the case of Eric Nolte, he's had a chance to get with a 4-run lead to win this ball game. He knows he's got to get those innings in. Scott Gereltz the same way.
Yeah, but admit it, there are times when someone would come to the mound, didn't you want to just yell at him?
Well, yeah, particularly if I was having a rough time with the infielders behind me. There were a lot of times I've told the manager, the pitching coach.
Tony Fernandez beats out a kind of well, it was a bunt, but almost a swinging bunt. And it caught Uribe sleeping, and Fernandez gets on. That's the time you want to yell at someone and say, why didn't I think of that? I could have fielded my position. Excellent job by Fernandez.
Well, the first person that you would have to yell at would have to be yourself. That's a slap bunt. He noticed that Gereltz falls off toward the first base side. Gereltz, not a good fielder, shows exactly why he's not a good fielder. Didn't field his position, and as a result, we've got the leadoff man with the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up for San Diego.
Well, Tony Gwynn hasn't bothered the Giants at all. I mean, in this series, he's only gone 5 for 5 thus far. Tripled in 2 runs in the 1st inning. Went 4 for 4 last night. Average creeping to the 400 mark.
In finishing that story, talking about when the managers come out and the infielders have a tough time, sometimes I would tell them, take the infielder out. He's the one who's having a bad game.
Never happened to us, did it?
He said, I'd like to, but I can't do it. You're the one that's got to go out. You know what change I have to make. When you're desperate, you'll try anything.
There goes Fernandez on a hit and run, and Gwynn powers one deep to center. Mike Felder has room, and Fernandez will have to go all the way back to first. So when they get Tony Gwynn out, it's at the 385-foot variety of outs. But Gereltz will take it.
Absolutely, particularly in a game like this. Tony Gwynn is just an amazing hitter. To have that kind of discipline, to hit the pitch in the strike zone where it's thrown.
So this is Fred McGriff, who homered his first time up against Scott Gereltz, and there was no way he was coming into the wheelhouse with the first pitch, was he?
No. McGriff is an excellent hitter. He hasn't done so thus far for the Padres, but he is in the power slot, and he's looking for something right now he can pull.
Count is 1-0 to Fred McGriff. Hit his 2nd home run of the year, which scored Tony Gwynn. The 3rd and 4th Padre runs. Inside out swing, and Mitchell has to hustle to keep the ball in front of him, but Fernandez will go into 3rd. So McGriff is on with a base hit. Runners on the corners for San Diego. The meat of the Padre order, and really the meat begins with number 1, Bip Roberts, doing in Scott Gereltz tonight.
There you see Kevin Mitchell going after the ball. It comes up on him, bounces. hits the heel of his glove. Mitchell finally recovers, picks the ball up as it stops, gets it into the infield to keep McGriff from going to second base.
So Fernandez at third. You see behind him Bruce Kim giving the signs. Crime Dog on at first, and Benito Il Duce Santiago rounded to second his first time up, fouls it back. Santiago, a member of our all-dictator team, along with Julio Generalissimo Franco. Scotty Gurelt scuffling. Santiago, who broke his left wrist when Jeff Brantley of the Giants hit him with an inside pitch last June, has come back against the Giants with a vengeance this year. He's 9 for 19 thus far this year. Make that 10 for 20. Fernandez scores. 5-1 Santiago. San Diego, Santiago, whoever you want to lead, they've been doing it. The Benito Padres.
It's a split finger pitch on the outside corner. He got it pretty much where he wanted, but Santiago saw the ball on the outside, flicked his wrist, and got it through the infield.
Well, now, whatever Roger Craig said the first time, I wonder if he's going to come up with something similar as he's on his slow walk out to the mound.
No, that look down to the bullpen is a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
He followed it with pointing his finger. It's going to be Don Robinson coming in to pitch here.
We'll talk about the caveman, because the Padres have caved in on Scott Gurelt. He's gone in the top of the third. 5-1 Santiago.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car. Right on the airport, right on the money. By the people of UPS, now offering next-day air delivery on Saturday. And by Shop Vac Wet Dry Vacuums. If you own a house, you've got to own a Shop Vac.
Don Robinson trying to shop vac the San Diego Padres and stop the bleeding here, as he's the new pitcher for the Giants. Robinson worked the 8th inning last night in the Padres 7-5 win over San Francisco, and his first task will be the big left fielder Gerald Clark, with McGriff at second base, Santiago at first. 1 run in, 5-1 San Diego, top of the third. A former teammate of yours. He was just a rook in Pittsburgh in '78 when you met him.
Yes, he was, and he was pitching so well that he replaced me in the starting rotation back in 1978.
So you have warm feelings for him, or are they rather luke?
I would have to say, at the time, I wasn't too happy about it.
Oh?
But yeah, but right now, he's been pitching now 12 years, so Chuck Tanner, who was the manager for the Pirates at the time, made a very knowledgeable decision.
The caveman, Don Robinson, posed in caveman garb last year. Big poster, very popular here in the Bay Area. It's Clark to foul it back. Well, one thing you do when you bring Robinson into the game is you don't have to waste pinch hitters down 5-1 all the time, because he's as good a hitter as anyone.
But he is a pinch hitter.
He had a pinch hit homer in a game we did here last year.
12 career home runs for a pitcher. Well, 13. He's hit them so fast I can't even count.
There goes another one. It's a pinch hit homer against the Padres. So now you have 9 legitimate sticks. It's like a National League team with the DH. But they're down 5-1. 1-2 pitch to Gerald Clark inside. Gerald Clark, it's his left field job, and he likes the road, where the Padres currently are about to embark, or they're beginning their longest road trip of the season. 4 cities, 14 days, 12 games. And that's where Gerald has hit the best. He's one of those youngsters that, with the departure of some others, do all the trades. Here, it's your job. Here, sit down, says Robinson.
Don Robinson, pitching last night, does a great job right here, retiring Gerald Clark.
Before we retire, let's go to John Saunders.
Well, the Giants had to make the pitching move, but the Reds with no problems down the stretch. Rob Dibble facing 7 batters. The last 6 sat down like this. 3-1 is the final. Tibble with 6 strikeouts. He gets the save. Back to Chris and Jerry.
There is nobody in baseball that throws it faster. Yeah, Nolan Ryan over 9, I'm sure. Amazing. Paul Ferries is up with 2 on. He grounded to third, did the Padre third baseman in his first at bat. That ended the 4-run Padre first. They're trying to retire Ferries again with 2 aboard to get out of the third. Count is 2-0 to Ferries. Last year at Las Vegas at 311 for the Stars. Scored 109 runs to lead the PCL. 172 hits, stole 47 bases. And he's worked the count to 3-0 against Don Robinson. Another one of these guys. The Giants really have, we could talk about this as the game goes on, they really have like 7 starters. That's not good, really.
But because you can only start 5 of them, that's why. So somebody has to pitch in long relief. But there are 2 starters down, and how much long relief work are you going to have?
There's the strike, and Rick Russell was bombed last night when he came in. Then Robinson pitched the 8th. These guys are accustomed to starting through his career, although Robbie has been up and down a lot. More than Russell has throughout his career, that's for sure. He's probably better suited to handle it, although I'm sure he'd rather be a starter. Gets the grounder to Uribe, to Thompson, and Robinson does the job. Comes in and gets 2 outs, but the Padres score 1, heading to the bottom of the third. 5-1 San Diego.
Durable Cal-Ripken Jr. powers the high-flying Orioles. Veteran Carlton Fisk continues to amaze for the White Sox. 2 of baseball's superstars meet in the new Comiskey Park, live on ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball.
Confidence. Confidence is the biggest thing I think Greg Riddock has preached into us right from the very beginning of spring training, that if we're going to be successful, we got to do it as a team, and we've got to believe in ourselves as a team. I mean, you're individuals when you go up to the plate, but when you succeed or when you fail, it's going to be as a team. And if we can keep it in that perspective, I think everything will be fine with us this year.
Teamwork, says Tony Gwynn. Certainly was absent from this team last year, but it's certainly been evident in the standings thus far, as the Padres are up to their 9-5 start, and they're off to their 5-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the third, with Robbie Thompson swinging at the first pitch from Eric Nolte and hitting it to Tony Gwynn. 1 down. Boy, Tony was really hurt inside last year with all the things that went on, especially a team that had a chance to, they thought, get back and win the pennant, as they did in '84 when he was a youngster. And he is playing with a lot of enthusiasm, and it's a team that's got a lot of smiles around the batting cage. Of course, a good start will do that to you, but different attitude helps you get off to a good start. Here's Mike Felder, playing in place of Willie McGee tonight. The Padres are a happy team.
Absolutely. Well, they've got 2 guys in the infield now that provide offense as well as defense. Fred McGriff at first base, excellent defensively, and can provide the power. And Tony Fernandez at short, who many believe was the best shortstop in the American League last year.
Well, if he makes this play, almost off the glove of Nolte. Fernandez had that one measured to make the play. He recovered almost in time, but Felder with the good wheels beat it out. So Fernandez really had to get set twice for this play, Jerry.
He sees the ball coming up. He's making his first move to go up the middle, has to take a step back, picks it up, bare hand, and on the run makes the long throw across the diamond. Of course, he has seen Mike Felder before playing against him in Milwaukee. And Felder, with that great speed, beats this out for a giant base hit.
And so here come the murderers row. Will Clark murders one down the right field line. Gone! It's going to be a pinball night. It has that feeling. It's 5-3.
There you see Will Clark do what he does best, and that is drive in runs in the clutch. Clark's 3rd home run this year, 16th RBI. Jumps on the first pitch from Eric Nolte. It's a fastball above the belt. Though it's a left-handed pitcher, he drives it and drives it into right field for his home run.
The fan went to great lengths to make sure he got a Will Clark home run. And so that brings to the plate Kevin Mitchell, who has already homered tonight. Clark's 15th home run lifetime against the Pods. Mitchell has hit 16 lifetime against the Pods with his homer in the 1st. And rifles one to second at Bip Roberts. And now there are 2 down. Let's go quickly to John Saunders.
Milwaukee blew a 5-2 lead to the Texas Rangers. It was 5-5 when Mike Stanley lays down the squeeze. Nick Capra comes in to score. 6-5 is the final. Look who gets the win. The Goose coming out of the bullpen. Wins it 6-5 in 11. Let's go back to Chris and Jerry.
Goose with the win.
Welcome back.
That's right. I know you feel for him. This is Matt Williams looking at ball one high from Eric Nolte. So Eric Nolte has seen both Kevin Mitchell and Will Clark have gone deep on Nolte.
But he certainly wants to prevent a hat trick right here from Matt Williams. Those are 3 top hitters in the middle of the lineup. Clark, Mitchell, and Matt Williams.
Pitching to those guys, Eric Nolte might feel like he's pitching for 48 hours. Of course, Kevin Mitchell hit his home run off Nolte somewhere down to North Dallas 40, didn't he? I'm running out of Nick Nolte movies. Help me here, will you? Count is 1-2 to Matt Williams. 5-3 ball game. The Padres lead here in the bottom of the 3rd.
And who could ever forget Cannery Road?
That's right. Well, we've seen the big guys go deep. The Padres have given up the most Gophers, and the Giants have hit the most taters. Gophers and taters here at the stick. Served on a platter. Foul ball. If you're all watching at home enjoying this, you see Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, Fred McGriff. The big guys are doing what they're paid to do. This is knowing the bullpen situations of both teams tonight. I'm telling you, I think we're going to... The carnage has not stopped. That's just a prediction. Do you agree?
Boy, absolutely. The way we saw runs being scored here last night, triples, doubles. Robbie Thompson hitting for this cycle. Seen the Padres get 3 men thrown out at home last night, yet still winning the ball game. There has been excitement here at the stick the last 2 nights.
There's always excitement here at the stick. Count is 2-2 to Matt Williams. Grounds a foul. And there'll be excitement tomorrow on our Wednesday game at 8:30 Eastern Time. The Baltimore Orioles against Punch and the White Sox at 8:30 Eastern. 5:30 here on the West Coast.
Hotel California time.
That's right. That's what time you set your traveling alarm clock to if you want to watch that game as Williams fouls it back. Bunch of 2s on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 3rd, 5-3 San Diego.
How can you call a 43-year-old man Pudge?
Well, I didn't give him that nickname.
I understand. But with your propensity for nicknames, call him Pudge.
We'll work on it during the break. We'll call Matt Williams out. We've played 3, 5-3 San Diego. Gaylord Perry, going into the Hall of Fame this summer, began his career with the San Francisco Giants. Won 20 games for him in 1970. After stops in Cleveland and Texas, pitched with the San Diego Padres. Was the last 20-game winner for the Pods. Finished up with Seattle. He's actually finishing up in Cooperstown. 314-game winner. Starred for both of the teams you're watching tonight. Gaylord threw a variety of pitches.
Talk about a lopsided trade when he left the Giants for Cleveland.
We will talk about that in a moment, but here in the top of the fourth, it's Don Robinson pitching to Sean Abner. Gaylord Perry, after the Giants won the pennant in '71, the National League West, I should say, Abner skies one to center field. Mike Felder nonchalant at first, but makes the catch, and there's one down, and the pitcher Eric Nolte coming up. In one of the, well, I must say, I grew up following this team, the Giants, and Horace Stoneham had his share of, shall we say, shaky trades. One of them sent Gaylord Perry to the Cleveland Indians after the Giants won the pennant in '71. The Indians for a pretty good pitcher at the time named Sudden Sam McDowell. Gaylord Perry went on to win, about another 140 games before his career was over. Nolte looks at strike one. Sam McDowell won 8. Then had an alcohol problem with the Giants. Advantage Cleveland. He looks at strike two. Before we get back to the game here, but Gaylord, Cy Young Award in the American League with Cleveland, Cy Young Award in the National League with the Padres. 300-game winner. Need we say more? Nolte barely stays alive. And what was that nasty pitch that he threw?
A super sinker.
Oh. Was it wet?
Could be. Whoever tests for humidity.
Oh, okay.
You pitchers, boy, I'll tell you, you have it's an unwritten club, isn't it? I mean, it's a membership that
even former pitchers have it.
There's Riddock liking what he's seen thus far tonight, hoping that Eric Nolte can just get him into the 6th or 7th inning. His club has the 5-3 lead. Nolte singled for only his 3rd major league base hit back in the 2nd inning. Canada's 1-2. Gaylord Perry played for both of these teams. Willie McCovey. Although it pains me to think of him as a Padre. Nolte will sit down. Robinson has retired the 4 men that he has faced thus far, and that'll bring up Bip Roberts at the top of the order. Roberts will take his time, let Nolte get back to the dugout. Here's the pitch.
Don Robinson, a breaking ball right there into the dirt. Nolte doesn't want to swing, goes around. Can't stop that swing. Don Robinson gets his 2nd strikeout on the evening.
Bip Roberts 1 for 2 tonight. And just a spark plug, both as a human being, a guy to be around, and as the table setter at the top of the order.
You talk about intensity in Will Clark's eyes. Look in the eyes of Bip Roberts.
What a nice story last night when his father crossed the bay. Drug problems, straightening himself out, came to see his son play here at Candlestick last night. First time he'd seen him play since he'd been straightened out. Still time in rehab center, now more as a counselor. And a big success story. Bip was, oh, he was so excited last night. You could just see the way he was running around, almost over anxious. It ran all the way down the right field line to try and make a catch, and you could really understand why.
It's an exciting time in his life.
Sure is. He is just a guy that you want on your team for a lot of reasons. 2-2 pitch. Robinson thought he had it, the count is full.
Robinson, when he first came up, Chuck Tanner likened him to Tom Seaver.
Oh, that's great. That didn't put any pressure on you at all, does it?
No, not at all. We'll talk more about that.
Thompson makes the play, so 5 men retired by Don Robinson. It's 5-3 Pods. Darkness falling on the stick, and the hits have been falling into the seats tonight as the Padres lead the Giants 5-3. Bottom of the 4th inning. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. And you know what? We're glad you could pull up a seat and join us for this one. Last week we had a great pitcher's duel between these Padres, Andy Bennis, Norm Charlton of the Reds. This time a hitter's duel between Tony Gwynn with a 2-run triple, Fred McGriff with a 2-run homer as the Padres cut 4 in the 1st. Kevin Mitchell with a solo homer in the 2nd. Will Clark with a 2-run homer in the 3rd. We're 5-3. Kevin Bass stepping up.
Well, we have something for everyone here in the Hotel California, don't we?
Of course we do.
A pitcher's duel one week and a hitter's night the next week.
It's like a Chinese menu here. Column A, tonight it's column B. As Bass looks at ball one, up top and outside. Giants looking to get back to the 500 mark. Had their 3-game winning streak snapped by the Padres yesterday. And San Diego has taken 3 out of 4 against the Giants. Bass swings and misses. And right now, I mean, the Padres are making their point, at least to San Francisco, that they intend to hang around this race, beating them 3 out of 4 thus far.
Well, it's important taking their first Eastern trip this year to leave the Western Division in first place. And why is that important? Well, you're going to face the other division. You're going to see these teams a fewer number of times during the course of the season. And what you have proven to yourself is that you could already win against the top 3 teams in your division.
Padres go from here to a weekend in Philadelphia. Actually, a 4-game set with the Phils, a Friday-Monday series played by Santiago, just practicing really, and the count is 2-2. Then they go from Philadelphia to New York for a pair with the Mets, and then 3 in Montreal before their next home game is May 7th, 2 weeks from tonight. And the Eastern teams come back to the left coast. Bass singled in the first inning. Second inning, I should say, but he's going to sit down here in the 4th. Let's stand up and pay attention to John Saunders.
Let's stand up and pay attention to former Giants catcher Gary Carter. Braves have stolen 14 of 17, but not against the kid tonight. Gunning down Jeff Treadway there. 3 for 3. He's nailed the Braves on steal attempts, and he should smile for the kid. Let's get it back to Chris and Jerry.
See, I can call a 43-year-old guy Pudge. There's an elder statesman, and we call him the kid, all right?
You're exactly right. Well, as always,
oh, no, don't get into that. Steve Decker swings and misses. Don't tell me have you hypnotized after 3 weeks. Hutton never bought that for a minute, you know.
Yeah, but look who he's working. He's working with Steve Zabriskie right now. He's no longer the concierge in the Hotel California.
Right, we've jettisoned him. Steve Decker hits it a ton to center field. Sean Adner racing back, has some room and makes the catch. So Decker sends it for a ride, but it's a long out, and 2 are down.
Nolte delivers this pitch, a fastball out over the plate. Decker is a high fastball hitter, drives this ball to the deepest part of the ballpark, center field. Abner has plenty of room to pull it in.
It almost hit the bullseye out there by the center field. You saw that as Abner ran by it on the fence.
Well, that's not the hard part about playing center field here. Because of all the swirling winds, you really don't know how how you should play the ball.
Jose Uribe looked at ball 1. Uribe flew out to right field this first time up. 5-3 San Diego. Bottom of the 4th inning. Glad you could join us. From Candlestick, 3 home runs. A triple. Scott Geraltz gone very early in this one. Midway through the 3rd inning, Don Robinson now working for the Giants. Eric Nolte starring for San Diego thus far on the hill. Fans saying it hit him, but Uribe never even made the move to first. And a reminder that well, we won't remind you. We'll tell you that in a moment. It was just an inside pitch. It's 3-0. And Uribe has walked on 4 pitches. With Robinson coming up, let's go to John Saunders.
Anyone who wonders why the Seattle Mariners have won 7 games in a row, looking for a team-tying record 8 today, Parrish to Vizquel to Reynolds to O'Brien. They turn the tough double play and get out of a scare in the inning. Right now, they lead it 2-0 in the 5th. Back to Chris and Jerry.
Well, what a difference a week makes for the Seattle Mariners. 0 for the first week. Just about perfect the next week. That's why they play 162 games, huh?
It's why it takes 162 games to determine a winner. There you see Mike Rourke out to talk to Eric Nolte here, reminding him probably that Don Robinson is a pretty good hitting pitcher. We talked about him earlier, 13 career home runs, but he's also hitting over 260 lifetime.
Uribe, the runner at first. Robinson, who actually on the last day of the '84 season started and played the game in left field for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and immediately slices one that Roberts makes a tough play on and retires him. So we're heading toward the 5th here at Candlestick. The Padres 5, the Giants 3.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Truck Guard from Shell. Think any oil will take care of your truck? Think again. By Daihatsu from Japan, the makers of the Charade automobiles and Rocky 4x4. And by Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch, where there's good food and good times, it's only natural.
Top of the 5th here at Candlestick. The Padres lead the Giants 5-3. 2-3-4 hitters coming up for San Diego. That means Tony Fernandez swinging and fouling the first pitch back. Tony Gwynn and Fred McGriff. Fernandez walked, scored in the first on Tony Gwynn's 2-run triple. Then later he singled to lead off the third. Came around to score on a single by Benito Santiago. So he's been on twice and scored twice. That's the difference in the 5-3 Padre lead.
We spoke earlier about Don Robinson. Chuck Tanner's prediction that when he saw him, it reminded him of a young Tom Seaver because of the velocity and the location that he had on his fastball. Plus, he had an extraordinary curveball when he first came up. But, of course, since then, he's had a number of injuries to his knees, to his shoulder. He's found himself starting, relieving as a short man and as a long man. Here we're seeing him tonight in long relief.
But it's my thought, well, with Tony Gwynn coming up next and Tony Fernandez up now. See, look, Tony Fernandez is what you will be surprised about. Last 5 seasons, 5th in hits. That's an eye-opener, folks. No wonder Fernandez and Gwynn have really been the two of bigger reasons why the Padres have started off 9-5. There's a little tapper that'll go foul.
But that billboard doesn't tell the whole story. The reason why he is so valuable is because of his speed, because he can hit behind the runner offensively. Plus, we haven't even gotten to his defense. Extraordinary defensively.
So, Gwynn, number 3 the last 5 years in hits. There's 4 batting titles. And here's Tony Fernandez. And Robinson fooled him with that one. So Don Robinson has come in and retired all 6 batters that he's faced. And with Tony Gwynn coming up, it's my thought that with the problem, well, here's the pitch, Jerry.
It's a fastball. He appears to take something off that pitch. It wasn't what Fernandez was looking for, nor was it in the location. Pulled the string, got the ball in the outside corner, showed something to Tony Fernandez that he has yet to see from Don Robinson.
Tony Gwynn up. 2-run triple. Flew out to center field. Looks at strike 1.
I wonder if he's throwing a split-finger fastball right now. You would think that with Roger Craig as the manager and the pitching coach, the guru of a split-finger fastball, he's probably throwing one also.
It could be. If Roger Craig managed you, would you have ever thrown one?
Yeah, probably. I would have tried it. I know that.
1-1 pitch to Gwynn.
In fact, the day before I got released by the Dodgers in 1987, it was the opening day in Dodger Stadium in '87. I went over to Roger and asked him, is it possible that you could show me the mechanics of a split finger pitch? He said, I'm sorry, I'd like to, but I can't do it because I've taught too many guys how to throw this pitch and it's coming back to haunt me.
Uribe. Oh my goodness, retired Gwynn 2 straight times. Could this be a trend after what he's done to the Giants thus far this year? Probably not, but they'll take it. 2 down. And Robinson has retired all 7 men that he's faced. That'll bring up Fred McGriff. Homered, 2-run shot in the first, singled in the third. Don Robinson is probably best equipped of all of the starters sitting in the Giants pen to handle this middle relief role. I think he's a big key to the Giants season. I really do.
But again, he has to stay healthy. In order for him to produce, in order to help this Giants ball club, the problem that they've had thus far with their pitching has been the middle relief. You've got 2 starters in middle relief right now. They have, as we talked about, 7 starting pitchers.
Plus, you're talking about Russell and Robinson, plus Trevor Wilson has not done, had a great spring, but has not done the job to get it to Brantley and Righetti. So I think Don Robinson may hold one of the keys to the Giants season. I really do. I mean, one of the big 2 or 3 keys. Now, whether or not that's the key to the city, I'm not sure. And as soon as I said it, he's walked Fred McGriff on 4 pitches. The first guy he has lost tonight. 2 out, McGriff on first, Benito Santiago coming up, and top-ranked boxing Thursday night at 9 Eastern time from Bismarck, North Dakota. Big lightweight bout. And a bout between Scotty Bulldog Olson, former Canadian Olympian, and Raymond Solis, flyweights from Bismarck. Couldn't sink the Bismarck, so we're going to have top-ranked boxing from North Dakota on Thursday night. I know you know who did that song. Benito Santiago looks at ball 1. Yes.
Johnny Horton.
All right. I mean, not everybody knows who did that song.
It's too easy.
With you it is, I know. I may have met my match, folks. Especially in that era right there. Count is 1-0 to Santiago. RBI single in the third. Rounded to second his first time up, and he fouls it back. Santiago off to a roaring start the first week. Kind of cooled off a lot the second week, but hitting .276. And he's 10 for 20 against the Giants this year, and we started to say that he was out 2 months when Brantley hit him with a inside fastball middle of June last year. See what he's done against Don Robinson. So he's done more against the Giants in than just this year. The Padres say that's one of the keys to why they fell out of the race last year. I mean, that's an on-field key. What happened in the clubhouse is another story, but Santiago came back. First big appearance against Brantley. Had a big base hit in that opening 3-game series with San Diego, which the Padres took 2 or 3 from the Giants. He's doing it. He's letting his bat do the speaking.
And what better way to redeem yourself?
Reaches out, fouls it back. 1-2.
That's the best revenge.
Oh, of course.
I wonder if he gets up. He has to get better prepared for the Giants, or see the ball better, or just know the Giants pitchers better in order to have that kind of success.
You know he gets up for the Giants, that's for sure. He talked about it with us last week. We were down there in San Diego when they played the Reds. 1-2 pitch to Santiago. McGriff, the runner at first. Foul back again. 5-3 Padres, top of the 5th here at Candlestick Park. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. Glad you could join us for the second half of our double dip here on ESPN. Red Sox beating the Blue Jays first half. Rocket Man. Reardon made it interesting in the 9th. Didn't quite terminate it. Well, finally did. Boy, this has been a couple of weeks for the Rocket Men, hasn't it? Rocket Ismail going to Canada. The Rocket Man, Roger Clemens, doing a great job for the Red Sox. Maurice Richard sitting at the Montreal Forum watching the Canadians play. And Rod Laver somewhere doing something. All the Rocket Men. 2-2 the count. 2 down. Padre 5th. Runner at first is McGriff. 5-3 San Diego. Make it 11 for 21 against the Giants this year. Benito continues to ruin San Francisco pitching. 2 on now for Gerald Clark. Here's John Saunders.
Chris, you only left out the pocket rocket, Henri Richard. But the Orioles and the White Sox, Dave Johnson to Frank Thomas, yanks it down the line. The bases were loaded. Ventura comes in. Fisk comes in, who has an 11-game hitting streak. Snyder then with a double score, 2 more. It's 9-1. Thomas with a 2-run home run as well. Let's get it back to San Francisco.
John, of course, you're talking about numero 16, Henri Richard. I know you'll keep me posted on the hockey scores tonight, please. Got his 1-0 to Gerald Clark. So just when we were singing the praises of Don Robinson, he's got himself in a 2-out pickle here. He's got to keep this game close. Gerald Clark has struck out both times tonight, once against Scott Gereltz. And he was the first man Robinson faced when he came in to relieve Gereltz in the 3rd. Long run for Kevin Bass. Long run for everybody. It's foul. For a minute, I didn't know if that would twist all the way foul.
From our vantage point in this booth, it's difficult to tell. Is this the same booth that you and Tommy Hutton worked in last year?
At times. Why, is there a certain aroma in here or something?
No, I'm only saying I can't distinguish fly balls down the line, in particular from this vantage point, to determine if they're going to go foul, if they're going to stay in play. It's something you're just going to have to learn.
You're admitting there's an adjustment to make, Mr. Royce. Hey, I'll admit it, too. I never had the view you had from a major league mound for 4 decades. A very privileged view, I might add. Skied by Clark. Bass calls everyone off. And Robinson strands a pair, heading to the bottom of the 5th here at the stick. San Diego 5, San Francisco 3. Bottom 5 at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Not a bad night for baseball. Certainly in here. It's not that cold. I mean, look, this is a warm night at Candlestick, all right? Will you vouch for that, Jerry?
Anytime you don't see a fire in the stands, it's a warm night in Candlestick.
But the wind is not a problem. Everybody looks so warm in the Padre dugout and the stands.
When you're playing here in Candlestick, you're actually a participant in the game. It's really not a problem, the wind, the cold, what have you. What is a problem is when you have to sit continuously for a long period of time on the bench.
Eric Nolte misses outside to Robbie Thompson. Thompson 0 for 2 tonight. And last night hit for the cycle. Tripled, then homered, then singled, then came up with the double in the 9th. But Thompson, that was the first hit, when he tripled to lead off the Giants first, was the first time he had reached base with a hit this season in the first inning. There's been much ballyhooed about him replacing Brett Butler. The Giants say, hey, wait a minute. It's really Willie McGee that's replacing Brett Butler. Thompson happens to be our leadoff man.
And he's a leadoff man because there's no one else in the Giants lineup who Roger Craig feels is as capable as Robbie Thompson is.
There's Willie McGee with the jacket on, and Robinson there in the middle. But there really aren't a lot of other answers for the Giants. Whether you can debate should Robbie Thompson hit there or not, they don't have a lot of other answers. And even though they lost last night, everyone was smiling after Thompson's cycle. But Thompson is 0 for 3 thus far tonight, and a nice job of getting off the mound by Eric Nolte. Mike Felder is coming up next, and tomorrow night baseball continues here on ESPN. It's the Baltimore Orioles at the Chicago White Sox. Cal Ripken Jr. and Slim Fisk for the White Sox.
The Duke. It's not Pudge, it's the Duke. 22 years in the major leagues. He deserves a name like the Duke.
He's an inspiration and a throwback, and he'll be in Cooperstown as well. There isn't a question.
Can you imagine the length of his acceptance speech if it's anything like the way he calls pitches? Very deliberate.
Well, he would get up at the mic and then maybe clean the spikes and, you know, maybe straighten the tie. Got his one-on-one to Mike Felder. Boy, I never thought about that. That would be a long speech. It would definitely be a...
It would be a long speech. He'd probably take the count as long as he could, 3 and 2.
step out of the podium box a couple times. Felder pokes one down the left field line. That's going to rattle around against the wall. Gerald Clark plays it easily into short. And Mike Felder is on with a one-out double. And that'll bring Will Clark as the potential tying run to the plate. So Felder 2 for 3 tonight, starting for the second straight night in place of the injured Willie McGee. And Will Clark and Murderer's Row on the way up. 3, 4, 5 hitters. Clark now leads the Action League in RBIs. Kevin Mitchell is second. Each have gone deep tonight. How are you going to possibly pitch to this 3, 4, 5 lineup and others that they might have coming up? That's the question that Eric Nolte will have to answer. Clark, 2-run homer with Felder aboard last time up. Ball gets through the legs of Santiago, and Felder goes to third.
He wasn't going to give him a fastball first pitch at this point. He showed him a curveball, got the breaking ball into the dirt. Santiago has a difficult time coming up with this ball, doesn't block it. It goes through his legs, and it allows Felder to go on to third base.
1-0 pitch to Clark. Did he hold? No, says third base umpire Mark Hirschbeck.
The San Diego defense is going to give the Giants the run right here. Take a look at shortstop and second base. They're playing back, so a ground ball will score the 4th run for the Giants.
Felder dancing off third. That's a 52-footer by Nolte.
Well, he hasn't come close with any of those 3 pitches.
It's a hell of a play by Santiago right there, because Felder could have easily scored. I mean, that bounced almost where the dirt hits the grass.
He did get on top of that pitch at 50, 55 feet. Nice block by Santiago. Saves a run. Well, that got more than just glove or chest protector right there. The Padres trainer comes out to take a look at Santiago. As Eric Nolte looks on, where did it get him? Somewhere in there. Is it right there? That's where it is. Somewhere above that chest protector.
Well, they're also going to give a little time to Wes Gardner quickly up in the Padres pen. And Mike Rourke will head out to the mound for some words with his young lefty, Eric Nolte. Here it is.
Again, the breaking ball into the dirt. Santiago comes up with it, has to call time. That got more than chest protector. Ouch. You can say it in Spanish, you can say it in English. Translated, it's still ouch.
Or something to that effect. Ouch, babe. Mike Felder, the runner at third, with 1 out. Will Clark, the batter. 2-run homer, his last time up. Home run number 3 on the year. Take the National League RBI lead away from Kevin Mitchell, his teammate. Ground ball to McGriff. It's not what Clark wanted to do, but it will plate the run. And for the first time this game, the Giants are within 1. It's a 5-4 ball game. Bases clear with Kevin Mitchell coming up.
Maybe that time Will Clark was just a bit over anxious. A 3-0 count, particularly a 3-0 count where the pitcher hadn't come close to a strike. Sees a pitch that he wants to have to drive the run in, reaches out for a pitch out over the plate, taps it down the first base line. However, it did score the run. It puts the Giants within 1 run of tying this game.
Kevin Mitchell swings and misses. That's strike 1 from Eric Nolte. Mitchell, who led off the second inning with a long home run to left, his 7th of the year. And Wes Gardner has now stopped his quick warm-ups. With the bases clear, and we'll watch Nolte work to Mitchell. I don't believe Dave Henderson hit one tonight. We'll have to find out. But if so, Mitchell 7 now regains the lead in the majors for homers.
Greg Riddock is hoping that Nolte can get out of this inning. He is scheduled to bat third.
Mitchell got under it, and Pip Roberts gets under the pop-up. And so The Giants are gone, but they pick up a run, and through 5, they pulled it within 1. 5-4 San Diego. Chris Berman and Jerry Royce, 5-4 Pods, top of the 6th. We've seen long ball hitters go deep.
We've seen long ball hitters go deep, and we want to see the starting pitchers or the pitchers that are in there stay in there as long as they can so they can bring in the guys who close the game.
Lefferts worked an inning last night. They'd have to get it very deep into the 8th inning to get to him for San Diego, and both Brantley and Righetti, they'd like Don Robinson to move it on that way, and of course the Giants have to take the lead before they consider those guys. Paul Ferries is up to lead the Padres 6th. Missed on a bunt for strike 1. Ferries 0 for 2 tonight. Second start in this series at third base. As Greg Riddock tries to find a third baseman with a hot bat, neither the hound dog, Jim Presley, or Gary Templeton of Doom have done the job thus far.
Hey, you caught me on that one. Templeton of Doom.
Oh, you can rent that now. Greg Riddock searching for the answers, but tell you what, his team is searching to be the first team to get to double figures in wins. If they win tonight, Uribe, Clark, 1 out. With Sean Abner coming up, let's go to John Saunders.
Braves and the Dodgers, and Kevin Gross walked in a run to make it 2-0. Tim Cruz on in relief. Deion Sanders, prime time with the single here, scores Olsen. But Darryl Strawberry comes up gutted to Griffin, to Carter. And they get Belliard at the plate to avoid further damage. The score now is 3-0 in the 6th. Go back to Chris and Terry.
All right, John, thank you. Boy, Gary Carter, good behind the plate tonight. Robinson bounces this one to Sean Little Abner for ball 1. The kid. Abner came over from the Mets. The much heralded Kevin McReynolds trade a few years ago. Actually came over from the Mets along with Kevin Mitchell in that trade, December of '86. With Kevin McReynolds. Mitchell then on July 4th the next year, '87, went over to the Giants in a trade that I don't know if it's going to be quite as bad as the one with Gaylord Perry for Sam McDowell that we talked about before, but 2-1 pitch, and that is nailed to left field by Abner for a base hit. So he's on with 1 down. He'll bring up the pitcher, maybe. Yes, Eric Nolte will take off the jacket, and Greg Riddock said he's got to go 6 or 7 for us, and he wasn't kidding.
Absolutely, so that he can get to Larry Anderson, who did pitch last night, and of course their closer, which is Stump.
What do you think it is, Raleigh Fingers? Craig Lefferts.
Now, why couldn't I think of Craig Lefferts?
Well, because you're having such a good time.
I haven't seen him pitch yet.
You're
far this year.
You're having too good a time.
I am having a good time.
Well, this is Eric Nolte, who singled and struck out tonight. And can Matt Williams come in any farther at third? If he comes in any farther, he's going to kiss him.
Well, he's definitely anticipating the bunt. And Nolte, of course, knowing this, if he can handle the bat more than just a bunt, he can push that ball back past Matt Williams playing third base there, as close as he is.
Bunted foul. So now Nolte will go get a word with Bruce Kim, and baseball fans certainly remember Bruce Kim, don't they? The caddy for the Bird, Mark Fidrich. He caught every time he went for the Detroit Tigers. What a magical year the Bird put on in 1976. I think everyone in baseball enjoyed the Bird. Here's Matt Williams. He's not even close to where he's going to end up here. Now Robinson in the stretch. Now he's creeping. I mean, he's going to end up about 45 feet.
Well, that's how certain the Giants are that Eric Nolte is going to bunt.
0-1 the count. Sean Abner, the runner at first base. 5-4 Padres, top of the 6th. 1 out. Right in front of the plate. Decker's throw is high over Uribe's head, and that will allow Abner to go to third. So a disaster as Decker chose to get the boards instead of the safe play. A good throw would have had him, but Abner runs well, and Decker, who has been so impressive defensively the last 2 nights, has not looked that way. And as a result, Robinson and the Giants are in some trouble.
You see the bunt here? It's not a good bunt. It doesn't get past the dirt. Decker has a lot of time to make the throw to second base. Throws high, however. The ball gets into center field, allowing Abner to go to third and Eric Nolte to take first. You see it again from a different point of view. He hurries that throw. Into center field, it'll go as an error on the catcher.
Error on the catcher and the sacrifice for Nolte, obviously. You know, Abner had a heck of a jump on that one. He might have beaten the throw. That was no sure thing had that gotten down to second base.
Abner does have good speed, and in 2020 hindsight, you might think, let's take the shore out. But Decker, being the aggressive kind of ball player that he is, thought they possibly could get a double play right there.
So now runners at the corners for Bip Roberts, the igniter. Maybe that's what we could call him. I mean, where's the Bip Roberts is terrible. I'll admit. I'm going to get rid of that tonight. That's gone. Either the road runner, as in Bip Bip, or the igniter, because that's what he does. .54 Padres. They're looking for more. Sean Abner, the runner at third base. Eric Nolte, pitcher, looking to go 3-0 tonight. Padres keep the lead.
The Giants, I think, at this point are curious if the Padres might put on some sort of a bunt play or have the runners in motion. Unlikely, though, the runners in motion with the pitcher at first. But a possibility for a squeeze.
Well, no need for a squeeze here, as that curveball was way inside, back to the screen. And so the throwing error and the wild pitch have combined to give the Padres a run and give them the 2-run bulge again.
Robinson trying to be too careful with his pitch to keep it down. It's a breaking ball, gets through the wickets of Steve Decker, goes back to the screen, allows both runners to advance. And it's a 6-4 lead here for the Padres.
You know, I'm waiting for the official score on this because that pitch was better as I looked at it again. I mean, I guess that's a wild pitch that far inside, but Decker should have handled that one, don't you think, Jerry?
Well, what he should have done was block it, keep it out front of him.
Robert swings and misses. The count is even at 2-2.
But with the kind of spin that a curveball has, so often it's unpredictable as to where that ball will bounce.
It was a pass ball. So you look at it again, and I mean, that got past the plate on a fly. I thought it hopped in front of the plate. So Decker's two-base throwing error and pass ball have resulted in this run. And Nolte, the runner at second base, with one down, the 2-2 pitch to Roberts, slugs it to right field. That's a long run for Bass. Past him. Nolte had to wait for it, and so with Thompson firing, where's that going? Nolte scores 7-4. Roberts went to third. So the Giants, who led the league in defense coming into this series, second only to Cincinnati last year in defense, have not looked sharp at all this inning.
That's about as far as Bip Roberts will ever hit a ball. He gets it up into the air here in Candlestick, playing him in, of course, because he's not a power threat. The ball gets over the head of Kevin Bass, goes all the way to the chain-link fence. He recovers in time to get that ball into Robbie Thompson, who's the cutoff man. With the throw, of course, the ball goes wide to home plate. There's another look at it by Kevin Bass. Nice recovery, but the speedy Bip Roberts is going to end up at third. Here's the throw by Thompson. He hurries it a bit, and it goes off to the third base side, and, of course, misses Eric Nolte. Scoring right there, the Padres' 7th run of the evening.
Roger Craig is out of the mound. And that'll be it for Don Robinson. The lefty Trevor Wilson will be coming in The Padres have scored 2. They have a runner at third. They lead at 7-4. We'll be back. Top of the 6th, and Trevor Wilson is the third Giants pitcher on the night. Wilson, who was a starter last year, took a no-hitter into the 9th in San Diego before Mike Piarillo broke it up in the bottom of the 9th. This year, every pitcher tells a story, said Rod Stewart, and those numbers tell a story. Ouch, babe.
Well, it's because of his wildness. You see there 8 walks in 7 1/3 innings. He's going to get his strikeouts because he does have a live fastball.
So Wilson is in with the igniter, and that's exactly what he does. Pip Roberts. The igniter on third base. There's still only 1 out. Everyone pinched in for the Giants. All the infielders either on the grass or right where the dirt meets the grass. All 4 of them trying to keep this game within reason. The Padres have opened up a 3-run lead again, 7-4. With the errors and the pass ball and the triple by Roberts. And here they are. But Williams is will come in on the grass as soon as Wilson goes to the rubber. There he goes. Just below us. And Wilson ahead of Fernandez, 0-2. Padres, who got 4 in the first, got rid of Scott Geraltz by the 3rd. Looking for more. Next Tuesday, where will we be? Well, kind of where we were at the beginning of the year. The only stolen base Ricky Henderson has this year is when we were there, Jerry. And Ricky, due to come off the DL this weekend, they have an off day Monday. Maybe it's against his former team, the Yankees. The Oakland A's against the Yankees. That's the Hotel California game next week at 10:30 Eastern. Maybe. You think you'd like to break the record against the Yankees? I think so. Lou Brock's record, stolen bases. We'll be there to find out. Clark pinches that one off, makes the play, and so Roberts goes back to third. 2 down. With Tony Gwynn coming up, let's shift gears and go to John Saunders.
Mariners and the Angels. Scott Bankhead with a 2-0 lead. Wally Joyner, though, about to take care of that, or so he thinks. Riley back at the warning track and makes the catch at the wall. See it again on the replay. Would have snuck over the wall. It's still 2-0 with the Mariners threatening to add to that with runners on the corners. Back to Chris and Jerry.
So Greg, life of Briley, pulling in the blast by Wally absorbing Joyner. With 2 down, Tony Gwynn swinging at the first pitch. Uribe to Clark. So Wilson does the job, but the Padres do theirs. They get 2. Their lead is 3 again, heading to the bottom of the 6th. San Diego 7, San Francisco 4. Bottom of the 6th here at Candlestick. The Padres have opened up a 3-run bulge again, leading the Giants 7-4. And Eric Nolte is looking to go 3-0 on the season. Padres looking to go 10-5 on the season. Keep their 2-game lead over the Reds in the National League West. Matt Williams, the only member of Murderers Row here tonight for the Giants that has not gone deep, although he is singled in 2 plate appearances. Williams leads off the 6th.
We talked earlier about the Giants middle relief pitching not doing the job. However, tonight, fine job by Don Robinson. 4 innings plus, 2 runs, and 1 of them earned.
And Trevor Wilson coming in to KO that threat before it got out of hand.
Well, that's what a middle reliever is for, is to try to hold the fort until you can get your good guys in there and also give this Giants team, which is an explosive team, a chance to get back in the ballgame.
What you're telling me is a middle reliever is just a tourniquet.
Like, why would you turn it around to something like that? In a sense, he is.
4 straight balls from Eric Nolte to Matt Williams, and the Giants have the leadoff man aboard for Kevin Bass.
we're going to see some action down in the Padres bullpen. It's a matter of time. They want to have Nolte go as long as he possibly can because they are somewhat thin in the bullpen. Want to try to get him to go as long as he can so that Craig Lefferts can come in and finish this ball game.
So Kevin Bass is up. Bass, who ran a long way unsuccessfully trying to flag down. There's Wes Gardner up again. Trying to flag down the triple by Bip Roberts. Bass 1 for 2. Now they have Bass played straight away to left, shaded a little towards right and center, and way around. Gwynn is way around right. Pretty good hole in right center field for Kevin Bass, wouldn't you say, Jerry?
Yes, I would. Taking a look at it from this point, maybe it's the way they're going to pitch him. Choose to pitch him inside in a situation like this, knowing that Bass might try to hit behind the runner, possibly have a first and third situation.
Jeff Brantley is up in the Giants pen, as they would use him then Rigetti if they got the lead. But getting the lead against the Padres, not something the Giants have done a lot of this year. They've lost 3 of the 4 games thus far, and they're down 7-4 tonight. Bass is down to the count 1-2.
Well, the other reason they have Brantley warming up down in the bullpen is because the pitcher spot, Trevor Wilson comes up with just 3 hitters from Bass.
So we'll see him whether they take the lead or not.
As long as he doesn't hit into a double play right here. You spoke earlier of the way the defense sets up in the outfield. Oftentimes that's dictated by someone on the bench moving them around based on the discussions that the team has prior to the game.
There's the look at the hole in right center.
We get into a situation to where Bass can hurt you. You want to pitch him away, maybe throw him off speed pitch, maybe keep the ball in so that he'll pull it.
Well, he's going to pull up a chair in the dugout because he went fishing on that one. So 1 is down. That'll bring up Steve Decker. The Padres lead it tonight 7-4, and our story this evening has been their big 4-run first. 2-run triple by Tony Gwynn. 2-run homer by Fred McGriff. Giants long ball, try to get him back in it. Mitchell a solo shot in the second. Clark a 2-run shot in the third. But Giants defense, first 12 games, only 6 errors. Last 2 here against the Padres, they've made 3. The pass ball was costly. They haven't looked like the Giants that we've come to know. An excellent defensive team under Roger Craig. Decker looks at strike 1. The second leading home run hitter in the National League. Going into tonight's play, Steve Decker. The leading man, Kevin Mitchell, has already hit his 7th tonight. But Decker is 0 for 2. Struck out, flew out to center field. Average of 273. Young catcher made the jump from Shreveport AA to the Giants last September. It was impressive, to say the least.
Right now he's using his breaking ball as his out pitch. He struck out Kevin Bass on a curveball that was in the dirt. And right now, Decker, who is a high fastball hitter, he's using the curveball to get him out.
Nolte ahead, 1-2. Did he hold? Yes, says first base umpire Ed Montague. Count is 2-2 with Williams the runner aboard first. 7-4 San Diego lead, bottom of the 6th. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce here at Candlestick. Glad you could join us. Told you there'll be some runs. I don't think we're done yet tonight. That one's in the dirt. Now the count is 3-2. So Steve Decker, Rock Island, Illinois. Now makes his home in Salem, Oregon. 25 years of age. Works Nolte for the second walk of the inning. So now that makes Jose Uribe the potential tying run at the plate. Except Uribe will sit, and Dave Anderson will move up to pinch hit for him.
Dave Anderson, veteran utility infielder, plays a number of positions on defense. Last year had an excellent year for the Giants. Is being called on to pinch hit at this point.
Has better power than Uribe, although not necessarily Kevin Mitchell power. Had a big pinch hit home run last year in a game against the Reds. And after Anderson is announced, Greg Riddock took his time, and now he'll make his way to the mound. Wes Gardner has been up a couple of times, and he is more than warm, and he is on his way in. So Eric Nolte has gone 5 1/3, but if the Padres keep the lead, he'll be 3-0. Wes Gardner, the second Padre pitcher, come on in relief of Eric Nolte. With 2 on, he will face the pinch hitter Dave Anderson. Gardner, pitching a lot of years with the Boston Red Sox, really never been healthy. Right elbow problem, hit with a liner under his right eye last year. Anderson slices one down the right field line, and that will be out of play. This is how you could tell a guy is injury prone. And there's Eric Nolte, who did a nice job tonight.
Yes, he did. He took full advantage of the opportunities that were offered the Padres. They scored some runs for him, played some pretty good defense behind him. He's held the fort thus far, even though he's given up a couple of home runs here.
2 on, both on walks. Count is 0-1. The pinch hitter Dave Anderson, 7-4 Pods, bottom of the 6th. Grounder to Fernandez, to McGriff, and just like that, Wes Gardner has extinguished the Giants' rally. Relievers have done the job tonight. It's 7-4 Pod to 6.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Squirt and Diet Squirt soft drinks. Give your thirst a squirt. By John Deere Lawn Care Dealers. Stop by your local dealer to see why nothing runs like a deer. And by Kit Car Wax. Goes on fast, wipes off easy, shine and protection that lasts.
Top of the 7th here at Candlestick Park. The Padres leading the Giants 7-4. Fred McGriff, who had a 2-run homer in the first inning to cap off a 4-run Padre inning, steps up against Trevor Wilson. McGriff has been aboard all 3 times tonight. Homer, single, walk. He goes deep, but either cracked the bat or hit it off the handle. And so Kevin Bass makes the play, and there's 1 down. Let's go Vitement to John Saunders.
Quickly to the Royals and the Indians. Kirk Gibson here. His 5th home run of the year. Had 8 all of last year when he was injured most of the year. That's the good news. The bad news, George Brett will miss at least 4 weeks. He has a tear in his knee ligament. Let's take you back to Candlestick.
Oh, boy. George, who's had the injury problems later on in his career, defending American League batting champ Benito Santiago steps up with 1 down. That's bad news, just for all baseball fans. That's the type of guy, I don't care what the tickets cost, you pay to go see. George Brett. Santiago goes around, and it's 1-1. Dave Anderson has stayed in the game. He batted for Uribe and will stay in there at short. And Trevor Wilson is in, and just what the Giants need. Robinson did go a long time, but he slightly sprained his ankle. I thought Roger Craig went out first to see how he would throw before he made the move, and that's all they need, a pitching injury. Santiago a rope to Bass, but there's 2 down. I mean, last year the Giants used 26 different pitchers. I mean, you don't have 26 pitchers in your whole organization.
Not major league quality. They had to go out of the organization in order to get some people. Remember, it was Francisco Olivares when Al Rosen went down to look at a pitcher in AAA, saw Olivares throw
against Phoenix.
Against them, yes, playing for Portland, liked what he saw, and made the trade for him.
Pitches outside low to Gerald Clark. As a matter of fact, Olivares, Francisco pitted Olivares, of course, pitched 2 good outings for Phoenix, and he will, I would imagine he'll be the first guy up. Of course, Downs began on DL, so he's up. Last year, in addition to using the 26 pitchers, which tied a major league record, by the way, set by the 1915 Philadelphia A's, the 55 Kansas City A's, and the 67 New York Mets. Teams that combined were 132 games out of first place. Let you wanted to know that, Jerry. And Craig used 14 starts. He just doesn't want to go through that again. He has enough problem when they're all healthy.
He's got a fine ball club out there. One of the best defensive ball club in the National League. He has the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in his lineup every day. That is the envy of this league.
But he's at the pitching woes.
You've got to have the pitchers in order to get you through 162 games.
Count is 3-1 to Gerald Clark. 2 down, none aboard. 7-4 Pod, top of the 7th. Does Roger Craig have your number, by the way?
He had it last year. He had a shot at it.
No more, huh?
No more.
No mas? Oh, this one is no mas, but it's curving. Oh. That one had rain on it.
He can hit him along.
Yes. As we found out late last year, Gerald Clark, the only man to hit, the only man all year for the Padres to have 2 homers in 1 game. It happened on an infamous night in Los Angeles. Oh, that one smoked past Trevor Wilson, and it's a good thing he got down and out of the way. That one was dripping.
Yes, that's why you take pitchers fielding practice in spring training and you have the coach turn it up a notch or so that you can either be A, quick enough to catch it, or B, quick enough to get out of the way. Trevor Wilson this time was B, quick enough to get out of the way.
I'll tell you what.
We just saw Gerald Clark hit. Let's go back for just a second. He is confident this year. He is relaxed this year. He knows that he has a position this year.
He's pretty happy about it, as you can see with that look. Paul Ferries has the third base position down at least the last 2 nights. But he is 0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 4 last night as a starter. So that's not necessarily the answer.
Who's next? Marty Barrett. Marty has been taking ground balls at third base.
Why not?
He has played some third base in spring training, so he might be next in line to get a shot at third base for the Padres.
Hey, as far as the Giants are concerned, Barrett has come to the plate twice against them thus far this year. He's had a homer and a double. That's a slugging percentage of about 8,000. This one is slugged to right field by Ferries for a base hit. Clark goes to third, passes throw, not in time. Runners on the corners for San Diego with 2 down.
Ferries that time just reached out for a pitch on the outside corner. Now, Will Clark holding the runner on first base. Gerald Clark, who is a threat to steal, can't quite get to this ball, goes into right field. Clark with good speed does go from first to third here with 2 men out. Nice try by Will Clark. And on that slow Candlestick Park grass, it gives him enough time to go from first to third.
So the Padres up 7-4 are trying to rattle around for some more. And Sean Abner, who singled and scored in his last plate appearance, 1 for 3 tonight. Abner could make it a 4-run bulge with a base hit. Clark at third, Ferries at first, 2 down. Abner hitting up near the 300 mark. And the center field job is his, just like the left field job is Gerald Clark's. And thus far, they have responded. Part of the reason why the Padres are off to a 9-5 start. Also, Sean Abner in the late going is twice as better hitter than most of the rest of the league. This time, though, he'll fly to center field, and Mike Centerfelder makes the play. And Wilson pitches out of it. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Seventh inning stretch time, 7-4 Pods. Seventh inning stretch time here at Candlestick. The Padres have stretched out to a 7-4 lead over the Giants. And with Trevor Wilson, the pitcher, due up, the pinch hitter for the Giants, Mike, the man who would beat Kingery. 1 for 8 this year. Played well in a reserve role last season for the Giants. One of the many that played outfield when Kevin Bass was lost for several months. And Wes Gardner starts him off with a ball inside. There's a strike. So Kingery, and then the top of the order, Thompson and Felder, before the heavy metal gets to the plate. Roger Craig hoping a runner or two can get on board for those guys. Kingery's worked it to 2-1. Started to say before, Jerry, Wes Gardner has been injury prone throughout his career. And how can you tell if he's injury prone? Well, he was almost injury prone if he stood up straight on that play as Kingery rifles one up the middle. And so the Giants trying to claw back in this thing again. Have the leadoff man on. Let's claw our way to John Saunders.
Well, as you know, Toronto got the rocket earlier this week, but they couldn't get to Rocket Roger Clemens. Striking out Kelly Gruber here. His ERA is now at .28. He's gone 30 consecutive scoreless innings, and the Red Sox have won 6 in a row. Take you back, Chris and Jerry.
And you know, Johnny, you think it's going to be a long, long time before the Rocket Man gives up an earned run or two, don't you? Robbie Thompson, 0 for 3 tonight, hit for the cycle last night. First Giant to do it since Chris Spire 3 years ago. And Gardner gives him the ball. Gardner missed some time last year because he hurt his finger, infected it while changing a tire. That's your definition of an injury-prone player.
Much like Ben McDonald, who clipped his fingernail too close for Baltimore. Odd injuries, of course.
What's the matter with you pitchers? It's 2-0, and Mike Rourke will hastily get to the mound. There's nobody warming in the Padres pen. We told you it'll only be Rich Rodriguez, and Craig Lefferts can go 1 inning. That's all they have.
Well, he has to talk to Gardner right here. Remind him that there is a 3-run lead. You already have a runner on first. You don't want this man to get on first base because that puts the tying run up to the plate. And worse than that, you have the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up right over the horizon.
One of the reasons the Padres have been in the bullpen by committee, one of the reasons they're 9-5, they've saved everything possible. That's the situation now for Wes Gardner. Or forever who follows him. Here's the strike. It's 2-1. (7-4) San Diego lead. Bottom of the 7th. Oh, he blew the smoke past Thompson that time. It's 2-2.
The first 2 hitters for the Giants thus far this inning have been taking a strike off Wes Gardner, indicating something told them by Roger Craig to take a strike off Gardner. He may fall behind you, or what may happen is that he doesn't pitch particularly well behind in the count.
This one gets through Fred McGrath. Kingery had to wait so the ball wouldn't hit him, and so the first 2 men up for the Giants in the 7th have base hits. We told you, stick around. This one had the earmarks of being a 15-round prize fight. Last one standing wins.
Robbie Thompson right here hits a tremendous pitcher's pitch. That is a fastball just off the outside corner. Drives it past the diving Fred McGriff into right field. The Giants have a rally in the making. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. And Tiny Felder coming to the plate.
2 for 3 tonight with a pair of runs scored. This one gets over the head of Santiago, so both runners move up to scoring position.
Wes Gardner tries to put too much on this pitch. It's a fastball. You see him standing straight up. The ball gets past Santiago. Runners go from first to second and third. Now the infield is going to have to play back, allow one of the runs to score, because if Tiny Felder gives on, he represents the tying run on base.
There's Rich Rodriguez. So it's him or Lefferts. That's it. 7-4, none out. Runners at second and third against Wes Gardner. Mike Felder looking at a 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Now, I'll tell you what, if Santiago doesn't get a little bit of the glove on that wild pitch, Bruce Fleming gets beamed behind the plate.
Well, Bruce, it around him. That ball was high enough. It might have been over Bruce's head standing straight up. That's how high that pitch was.
Inside, 3-0.
Gardner needs right now to stand behind the mound, take stock of the situation, and get himself refocused so they can come back and get this hitter. The 3, 4, 5 hitters of the Giants are coming up.
Yeah, they're coming up right now. Bases loaded for Will Clark. Single to Kingery, single to Thompson, walk to Felder, bases loaded, and the natural, Will Clark, is up. They're going to buy as much time for the lefty Rodriguez to get warm. Kingery at third, Thompson at second, Felder at first. Santiago staring into the Padre dugout.
Well, he wants to know what's going to happen. He's looking to Greg Riddock. Are you going to replace him? What are we going to do in this situation?
They're going to pray, is what they're going to do.
Well, they're hoping that Rich Rodriguez is ready. You see Riddock now coming out of the dugout.
He Carlton fisted it as long as he could.
Well, he's going to make a double switch right here because the pitcher's spot is first up in the top of the 8th. That's why he's going to manager or to home plate umpire Bruce Froemming, because the rules require him to make the double switch to the home plate umpire before he crosses the third base line.
Hey, you know, Greg Riddock didn't exactly come out of the dugout like he was double parked outside the stadium either. Hey, pull up a chair. Bases loaded for Will Clark. We'll be back. Bases loaded, Will Clark up. That's the situation that Rich Rodriguez enters the game with. Not exactly the best of times, but we'll see how he handles it. This is the line on Rodriguez thus far this year. Born in Downey, California. Lives in Knoxville, Tennessee. Will Clark in the third inning. This is what he did with a man aboard against Eric Nolte. Goodbye, right down the line. The basic frozen rope for home run number 3.
You know, I don't think in this situation that Will Clark is intimidated by a left-handed pitcher. Of course, you have to go with odds, left-hander against left-hander. He's hit 1 home run off a left-hander thus far this evening.
Clark with 3 RBIs tonight. The National League leader with 17. And the bases loaded, none out. 7-4 San Diego. Strike one for Rich Rodriguez. Mike Kingery at third. Robbie Thompson at second. Mike Felder at first. None out. 0-1 pitch to Will Clark. Grounded to first, slow one, so McGriff goes to Fernandez for 1. 1 run scores. Didn't really have a chance to turn 2, and just to make sure Felder did a nice job going into second base. Again, not what Will Clark wanted to do, but he gets a run home at 7-5.
He's driven in 4 runs this evening, 2 of them on ground balls to first base, playing fundamental baseball, getting to the ground ball in the infield. Watch how he goes into the shortstop, Tony Fernandez. That's Mike Felder. All of the Giants, they are a team that has a reputation of sliding hard into second base.
So that means with 1 run in, runners at first and third, Kevin Mitchell who homered for the 7th time this year to lead off the 2nd inning. He's up. Outside. We should mention that, as you said, Jerry, the double switch. Rodriguez is in and batting in the 8th spot. Darren Jackson has replaced Sean Abner in center field. He will bat 9th and lead off the Padre 8th. But the situation at hand, runners on the corners, 1 down. Mitchell gets under it, sends Jackson back to center field. He's going back, has room. Thompson tags. Clark tags and goes into second. It's 7-6, San Diego. That one just kept going, and look when he first hit it, as if there was no chance it would get to the wall. Then it kept going and going. Heads-up play by that man on first base.
Absolutely. Kevin Mitchell in this situation is looking for a pitch to drive. He gets a fastball out over the plate. Isn't quite sure whether that ball is going to go out or not. It goes deep enough onto the warning track. Darren Jackson, newly inserted, makes a fine catch. It allows the runner to score and Will Clark to go into second base, more importantly, into scoring position here, with the Giants now behind by only 1 run.
And the man that led the league in RBIs last year, Matt Williams at the plate with Clark in scoring position. He sends one deep to left, but not deep enough. That one died out there for Gerald Clark. And the Giants rally died as well. Hey, we're only getting started. Through 7, 7-6 Pods. 1-run game again. The Padres have led from the outset. The Giants trying to creep back and made it 7-6. And Jeff Brantley, the 4th San Francisco pitcher, really the stopper last year. But now with Dave Righetti on is the semi-stopper. He will face Darren Jackson, center fielder, batting in the number 9 hole, went in with the double switch. Brantley with an ERA of 1.56 last year and 19 saves. Year before that was 7-0 out of the pen. Mike Kingery stays in to play center field as they do a similar double switch. He'll bat in the 9th spot where he pinch hit. Brantley will hit in the number 2 spot. It's a long fly that Kingery has to run back for. And he makes the catch. So a lot of almosters in addition to 3 homers tonight. Boy, Darren Jackson showing some good pop. And Kingery, boy, he's made his presence felt. Gets in with a single, scores, and has to make a long-running catch.
It was a fastball up, out over the plate. And Darren Jackson hits it a long way. Kingery has a long way to run. Finds his feet or his location on the warning track. 1 step from the fence. Knows how to play the outfield. Makes a fine catch here for the first out in the 8th.
The igniter, Bip Roberts, swinging at the first pitch. Kevin Mitchell makes the call and left. And there are 2 outs. Let's go out to John Saunders.
And the wind must have been blowing out in New Comiskey. 5 home runs in the game. Ken Patterson trying to wrap things up, facing Juan Bell, George's younger brother. And Tim Raines with the acrobatic catch. We'll give him the nod. 10-4, Chicago blows up Baltimore. You'll see those 2 teams tomorrow night. Let's get it back to you.
7-6 here, John. San Diego leads San Francisco. 2 outs. Tony Fernandez up. 1 for 3, a pair of runs scored tonight. We've yet to ask our quiz question, so even if you're thinking of going away in a 1-run game, if that's not enough to keep you, we haven't done our Tuesday night quiz. Will Clark over to Brantley. 2 college teammates from Mississippi State have worked that play before. And we're heading to the bottom of the 8th. San Diego 7, San Francisco 6. Bass Decker coming up.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Energizer Batteries. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. By Liquid Crystal, the best shine and protection money can buy. And by Michelob Dry Beer. Once you experience the bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back.
Bottom of the 8th. ninth here at the stick. Chris Berman along with Jerry Royce. The Padres leading the Giants 7-6. 4-run first for the Pods. 2-run triple from Tony Gwynn. A 2-run homer from Fred McGriff. Solo shot by Mitchell. 2-run shot by Will Clark. Got the Giants close. And the Pods got a pair in the 6th inning. Giants just get a pair in the 7th. We've been back and forth, but the Padres have led from the get-go. The Giants now just down by 1. Start off the 8th. Against Rich Rodriguez with Kevin Bass. Single, grounded to second, struck out tonight. Ball 1 in the dirt.
Rich Rodriguez has the setup job this evening. His job as the setup man is to get through this inning to allow the Padres to bring in Craig Lefferts to save the game.
.1-0 pitch. Grounded foul. In the history of Candlestick Park, been here over 30 years, only one left-handed pitcher has ever thrown a no-hitter in the history of Candlestick Park, either Giant or against the Giants. That's tonight's quiz here, our Hotel Quiz du Jour. Only one left-hander has ever pitched a no-hitter in this park. Can you name him? Foul back. I'll give you the answer in a half inning. He's a pretty good pitcher, we'll give you that hint. Pretty good manager, we'll give you that hint. Roger Craig.
Yes, it is cold sitting there.
And excuse me, swing. Oh, Biff! Biff Roberts makes the play on Kevin Bass. He's just all over the place.
Why does Biff Roberts make this play? You want to see his true value to this ball club? It's speed. He's off with the crack of the bat, runs to where the ball will land, reaches up, makes the catch, holds it as he falls to the ground.
The Bipster, the igniter. Steve Decker, the catcher, ignited the Giants win with a home run Sunday afternoon against the Stros. They swept that series, but how quickly things can turn. They're in danger of losing their second straight to the Pods. Good pitch by Rodriguez. It's 1-1.
Rodriguez has not been pitching with his fastball. He's been using his curveball in the tight situation right now. You saw a curveball, the first pitch to Decker. It missed. Came back with a curveball, a backdoor curveball for strike 1.
Took something off that one, too, as Decker strike 2.
Well, when you throw 3 curveballs in a row, you certainly don't want to throw them, 1, in the same location, and 2, the same speed. So he starts off with a curveball, a get-me-over curveball, as the pitching coach would say. The second one got the corner. The third one, he changed speeds.
Didn't fool Decker that time. A 1-out single to right.
That was a fastball that he got over the middle of the plate, which he really didn't want to do. 1-2 on the count. So he tried to spot that fastball. I think he'd like to have that pitch back. Watch Decker. It's a fastball. He knows it. Knows that he has to protect the plate with 2 strikes. Does just that. Makes contact. Takes the ball into right field.
So Decker, the potential tying run on at first. Dave Anderson, who pinch hit for Uribe and promptly grounded into a double play to end the 6th. Trying to make amends. And the Giants, who find themselves down 7-6, are trying to do what they haven't done in 7 other times this year when they've trailed after the 7th. That is, come back to win. They're 0-7 thus far. Fastball on the outside corner. 1-1. Roger knows the team has the batting capabilities to come from behind. He'd finally like to experience that this season.
Well, what he hopes to do right here is get the tying run in or at the very least, turn the lineup over so that he can see the 3, 4, 5 hitters come up again in the ninth.
Missed. 2-1. Anderson taking a long one. Well, there's Roger Craig.
Those white gloves. Was it Michael Jackson? Who is that?
Relaying the signs to Bill Fahey in the third base coaching box.
You know, I wonder sometimes, so many people think that it is Roger Craig who's giving the signs. It could be a decoy with him just moving his hands around.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. Santiago has thrown Decker out by about 3 steps. So if you send the catcher, you'd better make the contact. You don't make the contact, and now the tying run is erased.
Well, Decker's not his base-stealing threat. This was a definite hit and run, and it's Anderson's job to try to make contact. Doesn't do it, and there's Tony Fernandez waiting for Steve Decker to finally slide.
Boy, Dave Anderson having a tough time. Double play now by missing the ball, erases Decker. 2-2 pitch. A little dribbler that Vic Roberts will handle. And the Giants are gone. We're headed to the ninth. 7-6 San Diego. Candlestick 7-6 Pods heading into the top of the ninth. The only left-hander ever to pitch a no-hitter at Candlestick Park. This guy right over here, Jerry Royce, 1980.
1980, 11 years ago on a warm Friday night in Candlestick Park.
You got some runs behind you that night, right? 8-0?
8-0. 8-0. And when I think back of it, it had to be the highlight of my career.
I would imagine so. As the Padre ninth, Tony Gwynn begins it against Jeff Brantley. And Brantley induces him to ground it to Robbie Thompson. And there's one down. Following the game, SportsCenter comes your way with Dan Patrick and Chris Fowler. Nick, you got me on my knees. Leyva was fired today as Philadelphia manager. Jim Belafergosi takes over. Billy Owens going to the NBA, declares from Syracuse. Highlights, including highlights of the big win by Les Bleus Blancs et Rouges, the Montreal Canadiens. All that and more coming up on SportsCenter following the game. But we're not done here at the stick as Fred McGriff looks at strike one. The Crime Dog with a 2-run homer in the first inning. And Brantley blows that one by him. It's 0-2. There's Craig Def Lefferts. Hoping to be some heavy metal in the Padres bullpen. Former Giant reliever. Second tour of duty with the Pods. Fouled back on the check swing.
Greg Riddock has to be happy with his pitching staff thus far this evening because he has gotten into the 8th inning using Rich Rodriguez to set up for Craig Lefferts the only way that he could possibly do it this evening.
I'll tell you what else he's happy about. As McGriff strikes out. Nice pitching job to McGriff by Brantley that time. Hey, he's happy about his batters. His batters have allowed it to get this deep. 7 runs, 12 hits, but not this time.
That was a split-fingered pitch right there from Jeff Brantley. Something that Fred McGriff hasn't seen. This probably is the first, maybe second time that he's seen Brantley. Hasn't seen that split finger. Brantley throws it in a spot where he can strike him out.
Benito Santiago, 2 for 4, RBI in the 3rd inning. Pitch. Foul. So Jeff Brantley trying to keep this game to a 1-runner and let the Giants bats do something in the bottom of the ninth. It'll be Kingery, Thompson, and Felder, and then the big guns if they get that far. 2-1. You notice I didn't let you answer that quiz question. I had a feeling you'd get that.
First one this year.
Foul back behind us. And a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball or our producer, Jay Cutlow. And he thinks I never worked with the telecast. 2-2 pitch. Santiago fouls it back. That one came a little steam back there into the crowd. 7-6 Pods, top of the ninth. Santiago averaged at .283 with 2 hits tonight. Jeff Brantley trying to put down the Pods again. 1-2-3. Almost does it to Santiago. So the heat is off the confrontation between these two players. But I'll tell you, when they faced each other in September and Santiago came back, first time they'd seen each other after the broken wrist suffered by Santiago, they were both All-Stars. Santiago was hurt, but went to the All-Star game. They talked about it then. They had a couple of confrontations, just batter pitcher, I mean, in September. And then Santiago had a big blow off Brantley in the first series this year. Now it's behind them both. Now that was as soon as I say that, of course, that's just a curve that Benny was looking into. But there was some tense moments at that All-Star game, Jerry, when these two guys saw each other for the first time since the incident in June.
This is a split finger pitch right here. Santiago, all he sees is fastball. And he wants to get out of the way as quickly as possible. You do. As a hitter, you become somewhat sensitive to that ball inside after you've been plunked once.
Count is full. 2 down. Bases clear. Fouled again.
I'll tell you this. I don't think that it's ever going to be forgotten.
Oh, no.
Santiago.
How could you?
For the rest of the time that these guys are playing professionally, and even beyond that, after they meet, they'll still discuss that. They'll still remember that.
Well, you never know. Was it intentional? I don't mean to injure. Brantley says, no, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. See how Santiago handled that?
He wasn't trying to hit it, right?
Of course not.
Not in a situation like this.
Just like we say, it's never forgotten.
Take a look at the pitch. It appears to be a fastball that runs into the hitter. Santiago looking for something out over the plate. Whoops. Comes inside, gets nicked with a pitch. A runner on first with 2 men out.
He'll remember that, though. Well, at least Brantley not afraid to work him inside. When they play 18 times a year, you're right, it will not be forgotten. Runner on first, Gerald Clark up. Clark 1 for 4 tonight. Singled his last time up. As a pitcher, and here's Clark up. But do you feel uncomfortable? I mean, you know you have to work him inside like any other hitter, but don't you remember, geez, if there's one guy I don't want to pitch or hit, it's him. Don't you think of that, or do you quickly put it out of your mind faster than the hitter does?
Well, you have to. In order to be successful as a pitcher, you have to pitch inside. Brantley is the kind of a pitcher who's aggressive. He needs to command the inside part of the plate on a hitter in order to work his out pitch on the outside part of the plate.
So now Brantley, when all seemed calm on the Western Front. And you asked for it, you got it. June 14th last year, this was the pitch. Broke the left hand. Clark smokes it foul. Good work, boys and girls. The truck. So they will not forget that. But if there's one guy you don't want to hit, though, it's got to be Santiago. Especially there's respect between the two. It's not as if there's a feud.
Well, that's true in part, but there are some hitters that you don't want to throw inside to, or you don't want to knock them down. I think back and was told by the manager of the Cardinals at the time, Red Shades, when facing Roberto Clemente, don't knock him down. Don't try to intimidate him, because he was the kind of player who could get up, and that was just the thing that he needed to try to get that extra base hit off you. He would never forget.
2-1 pitch. Clark swings and misses. We're going to make a double switch here on SportsCenter and put in Gary Miller along with Chris Fowler. They're coming up after the game. News of Nick Lave is firing. Hockey highlights. Canadians, Penguins. And the count is 2-2 to Gerald Clark. Swings at the curve. Decker makes the tag, and we're heading to the bottom of the ninth. The Giants trailing by a run. Kingery, Thompson, Felder coming up.
Los Angeles Dodgers still looking for their first victory at home in Chavez Ravine this year. 0-4 coming in. Tommy Glavine shut him down. There he strikes out Butler. Had 10 strikeouts on the night, and the Dodgers are still winless, 0-5 at home. 5th career shutout for Glavine. He retired 23 of the last 24 he faced. Dave Justice had a home run. Right now, let's take you back. Chris and Jerry for the ninth.
All right, John, 7-6 San Diego, and Craig Lefferts is in to pitch for him. Bottom of the ninth inning as Mike Kingery leads it off for San Francisco. Craig Lefferts pitched very well here as the Giants won at 87-89. The NL West. But now he's back with the second tour of duty with the San Diego Padres. And will Craig Lefferts have to face Murderer's Row? Well, that'll be if he allows any base runner here. Kingery, Thompson, and my mistake, the pitcher Brantley due up. So obviously the pinch hitter there. 9-1-2. Pitches inside and high for a ball. Mike Kingery. Winner of the game. Pinch hitter. And he singled and scored his last time up. You sense a rally, or will Lefferts handle it? It's 4 for 4 for save opportunity.
Yeah, oh yeah, no problem.
What the Giants are going to try to do at this point is to try to get a runner on base so that they can see 3, 4, 5 hitters come up.
And maybe the number 6 hitter.
Maybe the number 6. Well, if it gets to that point, they might have scored their 2 runs anyway.
Oh, but you'll want to see that number 6 hitter, don't you think? Clark, Mitchell, Williams, and Watt. Who's that number 6 hitter? If it gets to that point, Lefferts will have a good chance, let me tell you that. Kingery grounds it wide of first base coach Wendell Kim. 3/4 of that was an awesome lineup.
I think all 4 of them were an awesome lineup. Maybe not at the plate.
7-6. Bottom of the ninth inning. Craig Lefferts trying to nail it down and make Eric Nolte the most unlikely 3-0 pitcher in baseball. 3-0 pitcher. Kingery fouls it again wide of first.
Probably wondering why he's left Kingery in to hit against the lefty Craig Lefferts. Last year, Kingery hit 400, 10 for 25 against left-handed pitchers.
You know, I was wondering.
That's why I told you.
Thank you. Count is 1-2.
You did have that look of bewilderment on your face.
I have it many a time. Craig Lefferts has the look of concentration. Wants another sign from Santiago. Misses. 2-2. So we mentioned Kingery led off the 7th with a pinch hit single. Starting off a 2-run 7th. They've got the Giants to within 7-6, and that's where we stand right now. Kingery reaches out but grounds it to Roberts. Over to McGriff, and there's 1 down. Did we tell you that SportsCenter is coming up after the game? Gary Miller, Chris Fowler, giving you up to date on everything that's gone down in the world of sports. All the baseball highlights. Phillies with a new manager, Jim Fregosi. Hockey highlights. Billy Owens is moving on to the NBA from Syracuse. But we'll be moving on to the murderer's row here. We'll see. Robbie Thompson up 1 for 4 tonight. Singled last time up and scored a run. Greg Litton is moving into the on-deck circle. The bat for the pitcher, Jeff Brantley. Pitch. Strike call, says Bruce Fremming. You know what, the Giants seem to have the starch taken out. When Anderson missed that hit and run and Decker got thrown out, the crowd was into it. They've been quiet ever since. Whereas you think just down by a run in the 9th that they'd be making noise if you've stayed this long on a temperate night for Candlestick. A little bleeder to right. Plenty of room for Tony Gwynn, and the Giants are down to their final out. It'll be Greg Litton to pinch hit for the pitcher, Jeff Brantley, trying to keep it alive and trying to get Will Clark to the plate one more time.
Robbie Thompson, you see there, unhappy. Thought that he had a pitch that he could hit. Swung at a pitch, maybe just a little bit out of the strike zone, hits it off the end of the bat for out number 2 right here, and it's up to Greg Litton now to get on base so that we can see the 3, 4, 5 hitters of the Giants.
So Greg Microwave Litton fitting here in the Bay Area. 1 for 7 this year. Litton smokes one to left center field. That's past the diving Gerald Clark all the way to the wall. Litton, as the tying run reaches second base, has given the fans something to cheer about and has given Will Clark a chance to tie it or maybe win it against former mate Craig Lefferts.
You said it might happen early in the ball game. This ball game was not going to be decided until the late innings. With 2 men out, Greg Litton gets a fastball down the middle, drives it into left center field past the outstretched arms of Gerald Clark for a 2-out double.
So that brings up Will Clark, who has driven in 4 of the 6 Giant runs tonight. 2 on a home run in the 3rd, a ground out in the 5th, and a ground out or a fielder's choice in the 7th. Tying run at second base. 2 down. Lefferts misses inside and low, ball 1. Clark, the National League leader now in RBIs with 18. Lefty against lefty. Clark fouls one back. The count is even at 1. Kevin Mitchell on deck. So it doesn't get any easier.
You know, after Will Clark hit his home run, it was a fastball on the first pitch. He's seen a steady diet of breaking balls from the Padres pitcher. Now, what is interesting about this, Clark is a first pitch fastball hitter. He's anxious in a situation like this, an excitable kind of person looking to drive in the run as quickly as possible.
Fooled badly by that pitch by Lefferts.
Maybe just a bit over-anxious on this pitch. Over-anxious to the point to where he's now behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Santiago to go out and talk with Lefferts. Lefferts knows Clark well, and as you saw the graphic, Clark knows Lefferts well. He's hit very well against him through his career.
Looking for a fastball right there to hit or something up in the strike zone. Sees a curveball that breaks low and away outside the strike zone.
1 strike away from a 7-6 Padres win, perhaps, is Craig Lefferts. And he got it. Lefferts fans Will Clark, and the Giants strand the tying run at second. The Padres make the 4-run first stick up. They're the first team in baseball to double figures. If they're an NFL team, they've clinched a playoff spot. They're 10-5, 7-6 San Diego. The Padres continue to surprise.
Absolutely. Eric Nolte gives them 5+ innings. They've got the middle relief to hold it, and Craig Lefferts comes in to shut the door.
I enjoyed it, lefty no-hit guy. For Jerry Royce, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching. Next Tuesday, we'll have the Yankees